Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Noran Nagar. This is the first video in which I've had to turn on a lamp. So I've just spent about 10 minutes trying to find the right angle. I think this is okay till now, but I'm gonna see how that is going to evolve for the rest of my time here on BookTube. So today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite authors, which is the fantastic Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Chimamanda is a Nigerian author. She's well loved here on BookTube. A lot of people have at least one of their books figured when they list their favorite books. She's got a powerful voice. She's got a very nice storytelling style, and her books also have interesting topics and interesting stories. Now, she doesn't only write books. So she wrote 3 novels and a short story collection, which I will get to. But she also regularly does talks on platforms such as TED Talks. I'm gonna link a couple of them below. One of my favorites is one that is called The Importance of the Single Story or something like that. Of course, I didn't check the title before starting talking to you, but it's about the importance of realizing that a country, a people, a group whatsoever, an event is more than the one thing that you know about it, the one thing that is vehiculated through mainstream news. So when you know someone and someone tells you, oh, that person is poor, that there is more to that person. And I thought I really liked the way she talked about that. And it's also one of the messages that I've been learning through my Around the World in 80 Books project. But I would recommend watching the video because she talks about it a bit better than I do. Just a bit. She's also very funny, by the way. Another thing that she often talks about is feminism, and one of the books that she has is a manifesto, and it also kind of corresponds to one of the other talks that I'm going to link below, and that is We Should All Be Feminists. And in that, I've read the book a while ago, so I don't really remember, but the talk at least is about her way of being a feminist, that it's not only the stereotypical idea of a larger woman with short hair just being very angry, that there is a lot more to it than that you can be feminine. So that talk also is interesting, and the book as well. And she has recently written another manifesto that is called Dear Ojeawele, or a Feminist Manifesto in 15 Suggestions. And apparently those are 15 suggestions to a friend of hers about how to raise her daughter in a feminist way. But in the manifesto itself, goes further than just being a mother-daughter type of thing. I haven't read it yet, but I would like to get to it. Let's talk about her book. The first one that she wrote is Purple Hibiscus, which I have here. And Purple Hibiscus is set in Nigeria, and we meet a young girl who is raised by a very strict father and also a very religious father. And when there is some political turmoil that also affects her father, she and her brother are sent to their aunt's house. And their aunt is very different. She's very free-thinking. She's a professor at the university, and she encourages her own kids, but also then her niece and nephew, to be very curious, to ask questions, to not think that what is told is necessarily the truth. And because of that, the girl, who is called Kambili, by the way, and her brother Yaya, if I remember correctly, they start seeing their relationship with their father in a very different light. And that journey is very, very interesting. It's very well written. I recommend this book, and I remember the twist at the end being very, very cool. The aunt is such an awesome character. She's one of those heartwarming, intelligent women that we all kind of wish we had in our lives. Yeah, and it's about learning to be free. Now, her second book I haven't read, but I want to get to sometime soon, and I want to also get it into this edition because I love this. I don't know, I love this style, also love this color. Not that you can see it in the new yellow that is our life. Anyway, the book is called Half of a Yellow Sun, and it is set in the 1960s in Nigeria during the time of the political turmoils of that time and about what it's like for a country to learn to be autonomous after the colonial power has gone away. And we meet three characters, apparently, whose ideals and commitments and relationships are tested in that time of the Nigerian Civil War. So I think it's going to be a very interesting depiction of post-colonialism, and that with Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's writing style can only be a great experience. The next book of hers is Americana, and this I have read, and it was actually my first Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie book. I read it in Dutch, and I think that was a very big mistake because the translation isn't great. But, well, hey, at the time I just remember seeing the book in the bookshop, and we had just decided with my book club to read this one, so I just bought it directly. So this is about a young couple who are from Nigeria but have to separate at one point because of the political turmoils. And the woman, Ifemelu, she goes to the US. She starts with going to college, and she discovers what it's like to be not only from Africa and then going to the US, but also what it's like to be black. For me, this was actually one of the first books in which I saw how racism is still a topic of today, and a very different topic than the one I thought it was, with just Ku Klux Klan kind of figures. And the man who is Obinze, he ends up going to the UK as an illegal immigrant. So they've got these very different paths. We hear most from Ifemelu's point of view. And she has a great voice. It was very interesting to see all of these little things, her things with her hair, how people react to her being black in her relationships. And she also starts making blog posts in which she talks about being black in the US. And she has at one point also a kind of list of things that, well, but white people, if you haven't had these things, then you don't know what it's like to be black. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. I kind of secretly want it also in this edition, so I might give myself that as a present at one point. Yeah, highly recommend this book. Chimamanda also wrote a collection of short stories, also, which I haven't read yet, but like Half of a Yellow Sun and the other manifesto, I'm looking forward to read it at one point. And the short story collection is called The Thing Around Your Neck, and I've had a look at the different stories that were in there, and they're kind of the similar topics as the one that I could see for now in Americana and Purple Hibiscus. So yeah, that is going to be great as well. I hope that through watching this video you learned about an interesting author, and that you might pick up her works, or you're now curious again to discover more of her works. I am very happy to still have stuff of her that I can read. She hasn't written anything since 2017. That's the time that the second manifesto got published, but at least we've got a lot of her talks that I can still watch on BookTube. And before I leave you, I also want to show, well, see, I give my plants names, and this one is actually called Chimamanda. She used to be amazing, but I haven't been caring for her very well, apparently, because she's been losing these things. Just another one just dropped off, and it's very sad. And at least there are new ones growing here, and I don't know if she's going to be saved. It's called apparently a watermelon plant because these things resemble watermelons. But yeah, this is how far my love for Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie goes. I named a plant after her, except that the plant is not doing well. So I will leave you with this. I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye. Also, what do you think about the setup?